Boom, boom. Hello, Sir RocksAlot. And let's see. They look pretty underwater. But this is what we're going to be finishing up today. They're almost finished. They look good. So let's get this going. I need a few things. Let's go with light. There we go. Chat. I need to see all of you. Blank. Hey there, welcome in. Sir RocksAlot, and we are working on basically going to finish up what we started this week. I think we're going to get maybe, I don't know, 10 or 11 of them, hopefully, in the next hour and a half. That's the plan. And it's going to get a little noisy. And yeah, I think we're just going to get started. I could almost leave those in there. I'm going to start with the lemon Chrysocolla. Morning, afternoon, whatever it happens to be. Going to start working on the Chrysocolla one first, because that's the one I'm dreading the most. And then I have a whole bunch of turquoise, a little bit of Gaspeite, and some stone mountain to do. So we're going to put these off to the side. Actually, they can stay in for right now. Why not? Morning, afternoon. Hope you got your coffee. Came on a little bit early. Got a few plans coming up at around, I guess around 2 o'clock. So, going to get started. Going to be a bit noisy. If you want to say hi in the chat, that'd be great. Just want to watch for a little while, that'd be fantastic too. So, going to work on all these stones. We started these. Let's come down just a little bit. There we go. We started these during the end of last week. This is going to be the most difficult, and so this is the one I'm going to start with. Lemon Chrysocolla or citron magnesite. So yeah, let's get going. Hi there, welcome in. I don't know if the phone's too close to me. I'm going to finish these up. Got a few to work on. And I know it's Sunday, so some are still probably in bed. Some may have gone to church. Some will be going to brunch. Hi there, welcome in. Going to finish up a few stones. I'm starting on the one that I dread the most, I guess. Get it out of the way. Hi there, welcome in. And say hi in the chat, that'd be great. But yeah, lemon Chrysocolla or citron magnesite. So right now I'm just working on the 600. We've already done the 80, 240, and 280. Hi there, welcome in. And this is the one that's fairly soft. It's about as soft as the phosphosphosphoderite that we did. So it's probably a 3 or a 4. And for some reason we decided on a heart shape, which is not the easiest to do without using a driller. But we're doing pretty good. If you want, I can get a little bit closer. I'm really just taking off the little facets for right now. I've got about, I don't know, an hour and a half to do all these. And then I have some plans. Hi Akira, welcome in. Yeah, I hope you're having a good day too. I'm doing this one. It's the lemon Chrysocolla. You may have seen a few of these stones probably on Thursday, I think it was. And I just got to finish them up. If you like, I can get a little bit closer. Let's try it. Or not. Okay, let's try that. Got the other stones down here. Got a little bit. No, how about that? That's not too bad. That way you can kind of see the stone when it's close up too. So this is a little softer over this side, so I'm having to work this a little bit differently than I have to this side. But doing pretty well. And trying to reach my goal this week of hitting, I think it's 1,500 hours. And maybe with this live I will do that. So subscribers and likes are helpful. If you ever want to come see me live, I do lives mostly on Thursdays and Sundays. A little early today. Got a couple of things planned later in the afternoon. Let's get this back beat out properly. Wow, so these wheels are even closer than the other ones. This is where it gets difficult. You don't want to hit this edge on the other wheel. That's pretty good. Pretty good. I'm sort of rolling it over. And I've already beveled this side at edge there. Got a decent girdle going on it, and the dome looks pretty good too. Actually, I'm pretty happy with this. The way we started with it the other day, it was just a square little block. Move over. And we're going to hit a few of these other stones along the way too, just to finish them up. Sound on this side of the machine are a little more pleasing than the metal wheels on the other side. Got me a gift this morning. I'm very excited. And out of the blue. I'll show that in a little bit. Might not be much to most people, but to us rock people and jewelers, repaiterists and jewelers, actually artists as a whole, will probably get a little excited about what I got this morning. Alright, looking good. Morning, everybody. Hi, JC. Yeah, it's a great color. A little bit different than what we normally work on. It is a magnesite. Sometimes referred to as a lemon Chrysocolla, but I don't think it's truly a Chrysocolla. Alright, just finishing this up. I don't know what we're going to use as far as the final polish. In fact, with this one, because of I would normally use a ZAM on this. But this matrix, I'm afraid, would pick up all the wax. And I'm might end up just finishing it up with like an 8,000, 14,000 on the Dremel. Just polishing the inside of that little crevice right there. Giving it the overall wiggle waggle. And I do have to watch my time on these. I don't want to spend too much time on each one. But then I don't want to spend too little time on it where I miss something too. So if you joined any of the other lives, we did these Thursday and Friday. No, Thursday and yesterday. I think that's pretty good. Move over just a tad. So this is the 3000 wheel. 11 minutes for one. So this is the hardest one. So I think I need to average about 7 to 8 minutes to get everything done. Welcome in, Mahmoud Salah. You get people from everywhere in the chat. Which is really fun. Add a little bit more water. Hi everybody, welcome in. Hope you're having a decent, mellow Sunday. There we go. A little extra water there. If you wouldn't mind tapping that thumbs up thing at the top there, that'd be great. That's if you're signed in. If you're not signed in, you probably can't do it. But I do appreciate you being here anyway. Just going over. I love that. Look at that. That's just great. Lovely. Just a quick feel with my hands. Depending on the material, I might do it orally. I'm very happy with how this came out. Hi, Andre. Welcome in. Disco Land Tracks. All right, welcome in. I hope you had a eventful evening last night with some mirrored lights. So even the matrix started to polish up pretty good. You can see my little light in there. That's from the phone. And I kind of use that a little bit to look for bugs, any little crevices I missed. There's the light from the machine up here. You can actually see the shade on it. So it's a pretty good finish. Very happy with that from where we started. Started off. Well, I don't think I have it here. I do have it here. So this is what it started off as. It was sort of a chunk this thick. And really it was just a square like that. And so this was a test to see how well it cut. Did I need to stabilize it some more? And hi Haas, welcome in. I did get your pictures, thank you, and I will look at them. Saw some nice pieces. I was just coming on, so I didn't really get a chance to look properly. But yeah, some of the rest is lemon Chrysocolla. Very happy with that. So let's move on to the next one before we go on to the polisher. So this is, let's do this one. This was the Stone Mountain Jasper. Thank you, I appreciate that. and so we started with a piece a little bit smaller than that. I was a little worried about that matrix line right down the middle. I didn't know if it would snap out, but this one came out really well too. Kapow! Really nice. Welcome in, everybody. Hope you're enjoying your Sunday, whether it's morning or brunch time or lunchtime. Just going through the stones that we've done in the end of the week this week. I got my coffee with me. I've already seen the news this morning. It's a really nice day out. I've been coming on mostly on Thursday afternoons, sort of tea time-ish, 5-ish, standard Eastern time, and Sundays around lunch. Although we threw an extra one in this week. Which one, the heart? Yeah. Hi everybody, welcome in. Just finishing these up. Well, we can do this. So that would be, that's the rough, and do this. I'm trying stuff. I hope it doesn't mess my menu up again. Alright, I think that worked. Okay. So yeah, that was the lemon Chrysocolla. I just had a quick request to show the rough and the final piece. So let's get this one finished and we'll do the same thing. Sorry, I'm off camera a little bit. So we've already put these through three wheels on the grinder. I work on a Diamond Pacific Genie. This is not an endorsement, but I love the machines. This one's worked for me going on 4 years. And it worked for somebody else for about 25 prior to that. Yeah, I love this machine. Hi everybody, welcome in. Iopa Mopa and James. They're out there. Best is to go to a local show, because then you get to see it in person. I will be selling stuff eventually. Maybe soon. I'm trying to set a few things up. I haven't quite done it yet. Because that just it adds to my hobby rather than being a hobby. But that is the final intent, to start selling some of these, so at least I'm paying for my hobby. That's basically my intent. And then while we're doing all that, I get to share it with you guys. I learn, you learn, and we build a little bit of a community, and that's great too. So, this one's lovely though. I really love this. Alright, let's go to the middle one. I finished these pretty well on those first 3 wheels. I did a stone check. I'm sure I probably missed something somewhere, but I'm trying not to spend too much time on each stone while still getting the job done. Because they all got to get finished, and I've been finding that we do some cutting and some sawing on the tile saw, and then I get it processed to the 3rd wheel, and I'm not finishing the stones off. And so that's been one of my goals the last month, get these things finished so that I can present them to other people, and that I feel comfortable that I've done my best job on them, rather than giving sort of a half-assed job to each one just to get them out to try and make some money. And I'm kind of that way, so I have done a few commissions now. I don't know, at what point do you become like a true lapidurist or a jeweler? So I've done probably, I don't know, maybe 10 commissions at this point. And I have received cash once, twice, and then officially I've received 4 checks from the jeweler as well on their sort of business checks. So I'm starting to feel like I'm almost legit. I've only really had one that didn't work out. So let's move over here. Hi, Henry. I'm going to try this. Right. Vidia route? Vidia route? Or is it Vidia route? Sorry for crumbling your name. This is a 3000. This one is a Jasper, so it's pretty hard. And if I miss any scratches from the 280 to the 600, it'll show. I think we did pretty well. And I could either use cerium on this one or the ZAM, but I think we're going to do the ZAM. And then if anybody has a request for a certain type of material, I'd love to know. I have a little bit of everything, but maybe something. So I'm glad I just did that one with this stone. So I just slid off to the side, to the corner of this wheel. Luckily it is a Jasper, so it's pretty hard. And if that had been one of the, either the last stone that we just did, the Lenham Chrysocolla, or maybe one of the phosphositerites, it probably would have marked it, because they're much, much softer. So, my Sunday morning exercise. All the fingers, arms, and shoulders. Looking really nice. Very happy with this one. So these first 2 stones are super happy. One with the way we cut them originally on Thursday and Saturday, and then how it finished up shape-wise. I had a real problem with finding the right shapes this week. Not something I normally have a problem with, but I don't know if it was the stones I was working on, where my head was, but a little bit different. Okay, so let's see. A beginning piece and an end piece. So, beginning piece, end piece. And it'll, I mean, you can see it a little bit. But you can see a bit in the polish. Let's dry that off. Thank you, you too. I really appreciate you popping in to say hi. That's really nice. Come back, visit us again. We'll have some different materials to show. So that polish is pretty good. Maybe the cerium will help. Maybe the ZAM will help. That's pretty good. And that's before and after. Not the same piece. That would be quite a talent if I could do that. But I'm going to take a quick picture. Somewhere in here. Where is it? There we go. Awesome. So when I hit that, sorry, I'm still working a few things out on my menu. Yeah, very happy with that. So it's giving me little shorts, so rather than having to download my whole video and edit it, I can just go straight to the little shorts that I picked up. All right, so this was a piece of the green turquoise. This one gave me trouble with the shape. Just a little bit of facets, but it's much softer. See those little facets, but it's much softer, so it's going to come off on these. And you battle. Uh-oh. I see a mosquito. I think a mosquito just landed on my ear. Ouch. I hope it was a mosquito because I just smacked myself in the side of the head. Now we're just gonna go over these edges, take these facets out. A little bit of a different shape. It actually came out really well. I like to do my backs just in case somebody wants to set it with the back showing. Hi, Manny. Welcome in, everybody. Yeah, thumbs up help. You don't mind double tapping or hitting that thumb at the top there. Just going to go around do that bottom edge just to take the sharpness out of it. Sharp things tend to either get dented or chipped. Now, I also have to take, even though it looks really good, I have to take the sharpness just a tiny bit off of these corners. And I mean just a tiny bit, like that. And I left it where it pointed just a little bit because it looks good, but I did take that corner off just a tad. I'm going to do the same here. And that's just because if you try to set that, you're gonna ruin it. You're gonna bust it. And just about there. And the last one, just about there. So it still looks pointed, but it's a little less sharp on the end, just a tiny bit. Round off that down. How we doing on time? So I gotta quicken up a little bit. I'd really like to get to the Zam today. Show you guys that too. A little less talking maybe. Unless you got a question. Welcome. I'm not sure where you're from. If that's, I know it's Eastern Europe, but I'm not sure the language there. But welcome in. I assume you are at nighttime. I would try and translate it, but my fingers are wet. This one's neat, and I don't know if you can see it over the phone, but the black on here is actually, it's slightly blue. Picks it up a little bit, but as you can see, I'm only on the 1200 here, and yeah, it's wet, but you can start to see my lampshade in there, which is a good sign. Yeah, 6 more subs would be great. In fact, that's what I think I'm having for lunch. If I get 6 more subs, I can go get myself a sub. I'm gonna get a sub today anyway. But yeah, if you sub, you get notified, and you hit that notification bell, you will get notified when I go live. I go live mostly Thursdays at tea time, which is like 10 o'clock in England or 11 o'clock in Germany, and getting into midnight when you start headed across to Eastern Europe. So right now, the person that just came in is probably on, early evening, still 7 o'clock at night. So appreciate you coming in. A late evening on a Sunday. So yeah, if you put that notification on, I come on Sundays, lunchtime, Eastern Standard Time in the US, and Thursdays around tea time, 5, 6 o'clock in the evening, Eastern Standard Time again here. So I try to keep it where most of the world's awake. Unfortunately, some of my friends in Australia have to watch it at a different time. Although, no, you could watch it in Australia right now. Not too late. So they're about to go. They're going into Monday. Alright, let's see this. Let's do a dry test. It's looking pretty good. And we're going to zam that out. It's actually showing up like these yellowy, goldy undertones. That's really nice. Alright, I do not have a start on this one. Or do I? I do somewhere. Let's see. I have somewhere. Let me get a picture of this one anyway. I want to try and show what I started with on this one. Okay. There we go. Let's have a look. This sort of started as this, which wasn't very colorful, but it came out really good. And then these next two pieces started with this. Welcome in, everybody. And I'm just saving these ones. So these next two pieces, this is Nyla Turquoise. These ones, I don't know why I'm saving them, but I'm saving them. We'll cut them together at some point. But these next two started like this too. So, got 1, 2 done. Oh, they're in here. So not that one. Not that one. These ones. So those ones started as this. So that rough that I just showed turns out like that. This, it's Nyla Turquoise from Nevada. Really nice. That is quartz right there. It is a red quartz, and for some reason in this turquoise it tends to not pop out when you're working on it. It is stabilized, but even when you have a turquoise that's stabilized and it's got a lot of quartz in it, it tends to pop out, especially if you get it too hot. Just going around the girdle real quick. Get the back. Welcome in, everybody. Hope you're having a decent Sunday, or you got some decent plans for this afternoon. And then we're going to hit this work week running tomorrow, so that we can get to the end of it quicker. We got lots to do this week. Let's bring that back and get that bottom edge just so it's not so sharp. I'm going to start doing this top. These are pretty well shaped. I actually went back in between and shaped them up a little bit more neatly. And then we're just going over it on the next 3 wheels, and then we'll hit the van. Shouldn't take too much, just feeling. Do a quick dry test. So this is on the 600. That's dry, and it's looking pretty good. I don't see any major scratches in there or anything. Move on over. Same thing. Go around that girdle one last time. back. I do like to polish the backs. If you have any questions, go ahead, put them in the chat. If you have any particular materials that you'd like to see cut, put them in the chat. That'd be great. If you just like watching, that's fantastic. Good. Just giving it a little wiggle waggle. Back and forth. I like to, some people like to only go one way. I actually like to try to do it from all different directions. I don't know which gives the better polish, but you know, when I'm polishing my shoes, or when I used to polish my shoes, we'd have to do it from all different directions to get a proper polish. So. Over this one more. I'm sorry to hear that. The Bang, welcome in. You didn't know that this cat would know where that was, did you? He is well versed and well traveled. Alright, found out something new for myself. So normally I would just do index and thumb, and for some reason I use my middle finger and my thumb and my index on the right side. It works better. That's funny. Alright, well, I learned something this morning about myself. Let's try. Let's go around. This is a 3000, so it's not really taking much off. It's just putting a final polish to those tiny little scratches that we can't see by ear. I mean by eye. Wow, if I could see out my ears, that'd be great, I think. Would it be good to see out your ears as well? Your peripheral vision would be really good. Alright, let's have a look at this. Let's pull a little piece. Excuse me. Let's do this last time on this one before we hit the ZAM on this one, and like I said, the pieces of quartz actually polish up really well too, and the red color I love on them gives it that contrast like a matrix. Kind of the piece that it started with. You can kind of see the matrix a little bit, and that's what we ended up with. So that's pretty neat. Very happy with that. Nice greeny blues, or bluey greens. Turquoise color, really. Alright, go to the next one. How are we doing? 4 and 40 minutes. That's not bad. Alright, another piece of turquoise. And tiny little facets on the top. Over there. Doing pretty good here. Thanks everybody for joining in. Hope you're having a decent Sunday. I know for some they might be getting to the end of it, but here it's beautiful, or it was. Maybe the weather's changing. I know they've got a hurricane, so all my prayers go out to Jamaica and Dominican, Haiti, and Cuba, and then the Bahamas. Hopefully it will break up a little bit when it goes over the mountains of Cuba, but Jamaica's going to get hit pretty hard. So, what are you thinking about, people? Very late in the hurricane season. I think it officially ends in November. So, yeah. We've been very fortunate here the last year. Hey, big dog. Welcome in. Just in the back and getting that bottom edge, taking the sharpness out of it. And go around, do the girdle. Girdle's about 11 degrees. And we're gonna wiggle the top. As you can see what I'm doing there, getting my exercise. You don't have to press too hard with this turquoise. It's not the hardest in the world, not the softest, but it has been stabilized, so should take a really nice polish. Really nice. Same thing here. That back around the bottom edge. And if you see me miss a stage, let me know. Get that girdle. These three wheels tend to have that sort of meditative effect on you. At least on me while I'm doing it. I'm just repeating similar moves for each stone. I'll do a quick dry check. I haven't done the 1200 on this, but you can kind of see it starting to polish up, and then let's see what happens after this. So you just saw that, that's the 3000. And let's see what kind of difference even just going to the 1200 does. I'm just bringing it down a little bit away from the top of the dome. See, there's a difference just from that 3000 to this. So this is another dry check, and you can see the difference. All right, let's do the 3000. If we have enough time, we'll go over to the ZAM station. Try and get these finished out. I think the only one I'm not going to do the ZAM on is the lemon chrysocolla. We might. Let's give it a try. This one was a turquoise from Sam at Specialty Cabs and Block. You don't have it? I do have it. Let's see if I can show you what he uses this for. He uses about 2 different types of turquoise and then Gaspeite in a green block that he makes for jewelry. And then people take the bricks, they cut little slices or slabs, and they cut the slab into little pieces and little cabochon sized pieces, and then tab that up. And I don't know where the piece went, but I have it on my phone. So let's have a look if I can get this for you. No, that's not it. I gotta do this without the phone number. That's good. That's good. So this is the block that he makes. And you can see the different types in there. And then that last piece we just did is also in there. And then there's a piece, the neon Gaspeite, like this. So he uses those 3 different greens and makes a block. Hi Otto, welcome in. So yeah, he makes a block out of those. And that's kind of what the block looks like. And then so he puts that black matrix in there. It's really neat stuff. So I was fortunate enough to get the rough material that he uses prior to making a brick. And that's what these are. So we've done these 2. I'll do a quick picture on this one. Like that. And then we're going to move on to the next. This needs a little bit more. In a past video, I thought the neon green was, the chartreuse green was actually a turquoise, but I was incorrect. That is actually the Gaspeite. And I don't know if it's Canadian Gaspeite, one that comes out of the southwest of the United States, or I think there's another one that comes out of Australia. I imagine it's probably the United States one. Pretty sure the Gaspeite that comes out of Canada is pretty hard. Yeah, that last little finish on that one was definitely needed. Excuse me. 2, 1. There we go. Alright, let's get the greeny green going. 1, 2, 3. We're at 5, and we're just under 50. Alright. Doing good. Welcome in. If you haven't been here before, this is my channel, Sir RocksAlot. Try not to use that out in public. But I do lives mostly on Thursdays and Sundays. Maybe on a Friday or a Saturday, depends what's going on with our schedule. And yeah, shoot out like 2 videos a week or 2 shorts a week, and try to differ up the different materials that we're doing. I like this stuff. Excuse me for not being on track there. There we go. Get the back. Even the back looks nice on here. Get that little bevel at the bottom corner so it doesn't split or get chipped. Get it around. Get my girdle the right height. This is fairly soft, so it's pretty easy to work with. I don't know if I'm teaching. I appreciate it. We all self-criticize a little bit. But yeah, I hope I'm learning and you guys are learning too at the same time. I'm always open to learning new stuff when it comes to lapidary and rocks, because I do not know too much. I know some. I know enough now that I get commissioned every now and then, which is quite the compliment. Locally, that is. I don't do, commissions from outside of where I live. I'm a very in-person kind of person. Hi, Paigey. Welcome in. Hope you're having a decent Sunday evening. I was craving fish and chips yesterday. I can't tell you how much. I don't know if it was... I was actually going through some specimens and materials that I had packed up, and I was looking for something. And I guess in unwrapping all the rocks that had paper and newspaper wrapped around them, I don't know, it gave me a craving for fish and chips. I don't know if they still wrap your fish and chips up in newspaper like they used to. It's been a while. But yeah, that for some reason the smell of, I think, like grease and vinegar and newspaper was something I was looking for. Yes, Fritz. That's funny. Paigey gives me a reminder to give a shout out to Robert over at Global Prospecting. He's in Florida, and he does have a site where he sells all sorts of different materials, but he has a YouTube channel called Global Prospecting, and he is kind enough to share everything with us as far as opal. He does Australian, Ethiopian, I've seen him do some Brazilian, and super nice, super kind, and a really good little community in the chat over there as well. I think I was wearing his t-shirt yesterday. One of these days I'm going to have to do my own t-shirts, I think, even if I do one. Alright, let's see if we got a little bit of a polish on this 3000. See him sort of going back and forth, doing the wiggle waggle. Okay. So, do I have a piece of Gaspeite out here? I do not. Yeah. I don't have a piece of Gaspeite out here, but no, still not quite there. Excuse me. This does really well with the Zam, which is why I thought it was the phosphate, but it's a Gaspeite. Welcome in, everybody. Appreciate you joining me on a Sunday. If you're new, welcome. No husky, eh? Well, my family are English. Lancashire and Yorkshire. So everywhere from Leeds, Wakefield, Liverpool, across the Pennines into Burnley and Blackburn, Accrington, and if you go in the Pennines, like to see where my family are from. So if you go to where all the witches are from in Pendle Hill, that's kind of where my family are from on my dad's side. And my mom was down a little bit lower. And so yes, I grew up in England, went to school in England, a little bit in different places in Europe as well. So this polish came out really nice. Nice enough that you see the shade to the lamp and the bulb inside. And then this light is from the I forgot what's so I actually grew up mostly in the south, in Europe and in the south. My dad was, he worked the coal mines just after the war. And then my aunt and uncle were all Leeds, Wakefield, and I still have cousins out that way. I have quite a few cousins, aunts, uncles, cousins, still up that way. And I really need to go visit. I know it's changed a lot since I was there. But yeah, I remember as a child paddling around the Ribble. Not that anybody else would necessarily know where the Ribble is, but yes. So yeah, that's back in the day. And I do miss the countryside a lot. All right, we have to finish up. Yeah, I think like anybody from up north we were mining, so my granddad was, unions for coal and tin mining, and I think originally, we did coal family-wise over in Wales. My father was just extremely smart. And nobody really knows where he got to. I mean, my family are smart, but he was exceptionally smart. And all his friends after the war, basically at 14, they all went down in the coal mine because they needed to make money for the family. And my dad wanted to do the same, but his headmaster at his grammar school said he was too smart. And he ended up staying until he was 15, and then he was like, I gotta go work. My friends are working, we need to bring money into the house. He basically, he grew up in a 2-and-2, so Coronation Street stuff. I don't know if everybody understands this. Paige might be the only one. But yeah, 2 up, 2 down, and cobbled road out the back and cobbled road in the front. And so yeah, they didn't have a lot of money, and I could tell the whole story, but I could tell some of it. So while he was in the mine, he injured himself, and then because he was part of the coal union, the British coal union, they put him in the chemistry labs to clean all the glassware. And while he was in there, they figured out how smart he was, and next thing you knew, they gave him a scholarship to Manchester University. And then he got his PhD over there. So from a very, very humbling start to where he ended up was quite amazing, really amazing. Yeah, you ask even today, like some of these, unfortunately we have a system where we give more of a latitude, I guess, to education instead of work experience. And I know a lot of people that go to college and get a degree and don't have the experience behind them. And I know a lot of people that have the experience behind them that could well outthink and perform than some people I know that have gone to university. And I think we're kind of getting back to that because we're finding out our infrastructure need workers and they pay very well. Yeah, the union was a good thing, and it's a mixed bag. Because honestly, it hasn't changed much since then, and that's 60, 70 years ago, and they say they're doing the best for everybody, but they're still in the same living conditions they were 70 years ago. In the same buildings too. It's really and now they don't have the mines as much, so I don't know. I have some really neat old pictures of my dad back in the day, black and whites, talking to crowds out in the streets and stuff. And back then it was a lot more vocal, and everybody get together on the corner of the street and talk out their griefs and gripes. Today, a lot more, we have these keyboard warriors. Anyway, I'm cutting stones today. Welcome in, everybody. So this is a pink road night. Really nice. Hi, dear Vanilla. Yeah, I know. Unfortunate. Moved on to the other wheel. Alright, well, getting there. What am I on? 1, 2, 3. Doing pretty good. Got a couple more I want to get done, and then we'll try going over to the ZAM, and then we'll finish up there. Pictures of my dome. Pictures back on this one. No, this is not a phosphate. I think it's a silica that has oxidized, so it has some sort of iron in there because of the black. Like I don't know if it's a magnetite, but this pink turns black when it gets oxidized. So when they find this material, they'll find big boulders, and it just looks like a giant black boulder, but it's not until they cut into it that they see the pink. And you get different qualities, so this is actually a pretty good quality. And I still got, what is that? I wanted to say that was a, where is it? Right there was a scratch, but it's actually not a scratch. It's part of one of the black inclusions right there. And I don't think that'll come out. I think it just, because it's a different material, it's showing up a little more dull than the rest of the stone. Let's see on the 3000, and we'll see. On the 3000, should take the rest of the little scratches out, but really it's not taking off much at all from the 1200 to the 3000. Some people will even leave it at 1200 and move over to the polishing compound right after that. I need it to be well polished because I don't want any of the sand to get into these black inclusions. And I say inclusion, not all inclusions are bad. So like these inclusions are not fractures, and they're not bad for the stability of the stone. Hi, Patrick. Yeah, I don't see where I am anyway, we don't get rhododendrons over here. Where I grew up, they were all around the outside of the property. Alright, it's pretty good except for that one little line right there. But that's really part of the stone. So I'm going to be really careful when I polish this one. Alright, what are we on? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 we did. Doing good. Let's do the blue. I'm going to leave these because I still have some work to do with these ones. Trying to decide whether I'm going to back it or bring that down or bring the top down some. I'd like to get a little bit more of that matrix out. So I'm going to continue to work on that one. This is some Burrow Creek, which I just did. That's not a crack. It's just part of the edge right there. It'll be a really nice square, but it's going to take me too long right now to round those off in front of you, but I'm going to round these off, and then I'll polish that up another time as well. So I think we're going to do 2 more. We've got 1 and 2 to do. So this one had been backed. I managed to get the girdle with still a little bit of the turquoise at the top of that backing. So basically that backing filled in a giant hole in the back. Whereas this side, it looks really good. So to set this has to be set all the way up to the top, like that, with the bezel wire, and you won't see that it's even backed in the back. And it's just a good way to save certain pieces. So I'm hoping as we go around here, it might even thicken that band out just a little bit more. This was actually some Kingman, from a Kingman mix. Kingman has so many varieties of turquoise. From green to blues, dark blues. I've been enjoying, I don't know if you saw one of my shorts that I put out last week, but the really dark Kingman I've been really liking. It starts to come down a little bit. And it's ranged, where is it? I got something else. Sorry about that. I'm looking for the Kingman. I don't know where I put it. I'll show it next time. Yeah, Kingman does like everything. So the stuff I got from, I think it was Tim, there's a wide variation. There's a couple of pieces in there I don't really like. It's got really nice blue color similar to this, but the seam is literally just a little thin seam across the top of some stabilized black coast rock, I guess. I'm not a huge fan of that. The dark blues that I've got I really like. It's got some pyrites in there, a little bit of quartz in there, but the blues are just a really nice dark blue, like a midnight blue. I would show you, but they're inside. Just evening this out. Gonna have to reorient this one, I think. What I mean by reorient is it's slightly higher on this side, and I'll just take the bottom off to flatten that out. But the color on this is lovely. Very nice piece. So some people would have made this into maybe a tiny little stone down here, so that you have turquoise all the way down the bottom, but I thought saving it and making it a bit bigger was a better idea. Husky, you must have quite the collection by now, I imagine. I know you said you were going to Snapper, and then you've already been to the Kingman mines. And maybe the smart thing to do is not to go with any money. Or not too much. One day we'll make it out there. Maybe one day the stones we're doing today will help me get out there. Alright, let's move over just one more, and then I got one more piece to polish up, and then we'll hit the Zam, and we should be good. So, really appreciate everybody spending time and commenting and hitting that like button. Haven't been here before, it's Sir RocksAlot, is the channel name. And if you hit the subscribe and that notification, it will tell you when I go live or when I upload a short or a video. I don't think it costs anything for anybody to do. And if you just enjoy watching and don't want to do that, that's fine too. I really appreciate you doing it. If anybody has a request as far as the type of material, we could do that and I could source it out. I got plenty we can go through already. So, I think we're going to have to do some fire agate again, and possibly some opal. And I have some really nice opal. The thing is, sometimes it doesn't show up well on the camera. Ooh, that's close. See how close that is to the edge. It's really close. Oh no, it's not too bad, this actually. So really only goes to there. So there's enough there that you can bezel up to. Really? We live in a cute town, lots of trees, but we don't find much around here. We got to go into the creeks and find old fossils and stuff. You know, Megalodon keep that kind of stuff sharp speed. If you take a really, 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 really long drive, you can go sort of like Tampa and get some of the Florida coral down there. Alright, looking pretty good. One more piece to go. I think we'll fit into the plan. This was another piece from sand. It's thick, no backing to it. Use a bit better on the shape right there. So let's see if we can get some of that off with the 600. A little bit rounder. I might just leave it. Doesn't need to be perfect. This one is definitely stabilized. You can smell it. It's pretty strong. And just to let everybody know, I believe it's about 90% of turquoise out on the market is stabilized. And all that's doing is putting a clear epoxy through the stone to increase its hardness and increase its sort of end life. It also helps with jewelry, makes it a little bit harder, a little less temperamental to knocks and scratches. It does not, well, I shouldn't say it doesn't, but the aim is not to change the color, which if you're using a clear epoxy, it shouldn't change the color. And if you're using cheaper stabilization methods, it may change the color. Now there are people that do dye it as well, but hopefully they will tell you whether it's dyed or not. Yep, we had a plan. The plan was no agenda. Yeah. We try to not have plans around here. Sometimes we have plans. Oopsie. Tried to get away. Higher dome. Bigger wiggle waggle. I'm not going very hard either. And then after this piece, I'm going to take a walk over here to my exam station. This is looking pretty good. Little variations in the color there. Alright, just got a 3000 to do on this one. And we'll be done on this machine. Oh yeah, we're doing well. Welcome in, everybody. Thank you for visiting and your participation. Got 3000. This is the 3000 grit right here. So this is smooth, finishing the smooth and shape, pre-polish, polish, and then we'll take it to another polish after this, compound polish, which will be a ZAM, which just gives it a final shine. I think ZAM is a chromium aluminum oxide, so it works really well with phosphate. I'm going to do all the stones on that. Cerium can work, but for me, it tends to react occasionally to different types of phosphate. And then I have to go back to my 3000 and then back up to the ZAM. Alright. Looking pretty good. Do this, and this, Alright, turn that off. So let's get a picture. Oh, I missed one. Well, it's okay. Let's get these together. 1, 2, 3. Alright, well we did 9, not bad. So 9's pretty good. And then we're going to go to the ZAM and see if we can polish it up a little bit more. So, Nyla. This is southwestern United States. Also southwestern United States is a pink rhodonite. Then we got Stone Mountain Jasper. We've got Nyla, Kingman. This is a Gaspeite. And we're going to go finish these up. So give me 1 second because we're going to take a little walk. And I hope I don't lose you because it could happen. So I gotta take you out of this one and into another one. So I'm gonna do this without dropping you. Alright, gonna get my hand for a second. It gets a little noisy as I screw this in. This is my buffing wheel. I have plans to, on that left hand side, I have, hi Giorgio, my Captilo, welcome in. Thank you, I appreciate you being there. Just going to do the quick polish on these and we'll be done. So, going to use some ZAM, not an endorsement. Great little polishing wax. So I'm going to charge it up. And the first few stones I do, I'm going to do the ones that I know are going to do well, just in case there's too much compound on there. So this is a chromium aluminum wax. The green comes from the chromium. I'm going to start this one. See if it even. I like to do my backs first. And the reason I do the back is to do a test. Oh my goodness. So, a bit of shine on that. Probably could have done a better job finishing that up top. But I do the test just to make sure it's not having a reaction, because these do have chemicals in them. So they do better with certain minerals than others. Phosphate being one of them. And this one just, wow, okay. This one's doing rather well. It's also a good way to tell if you have a phosphate, a true phosphate. It will polish up pretty nice. Wow, okay. Let's get the edges. Alright, let's take a peek. Look at that. Wow. That polish is great. Let me get closer. Yeah. Really happy with that. Let's try another piece. I'm going to do these green ones first. I put quite a lot of ZAM on here. Not that I need it all. So I'm going to use it on these green ones so that if any of it gets left on the stone, you don't really see it. Appreciate you all coming in today and getting ready for tomorrow and the week. This is how I get ready for my week. Gives me something to daydream while I'm at work. Doesn't take long on the wheel. The speed on this one I think is 1750 on the RPM. So not too fast. This is really nice too. Very nice polish. Alright, there's two. Let's do the Gaspeite. Let's see if we can do it. I mean, it's pretty good already from the 3000. Same thing, do the back first. Give it a check. That is like silky shine right there. Wow. Occasionally I'll let go one of these and I might not see it for a few months. Now I've said that, we can probably go ahead and do that. But yeah, thank you all for coming in. And here we go. It's that quick. That quick, that easy. Really nice polish. Do the Nyla. Kind of see the polish. See if this makes it a little bit better. Yeah, 2 more thumbs up to 50 from what I can see. And I would love to hit the 50. It really helps me in the channel. Means I can come back do some more with you guys. I do go live on Thursdays and Sundays, and occasionally in between. The favorite part because it's the end, or the favorite part because we get to see the shinies. I know it's because we get to see the shinies. Thank you, I appreciate that. Come back, see us again. Alright. Wow. Really nice. It's even nicer in person. It needs a different type of light. Let's see. Boop, boop. Boop. Got like a little guy in there. Really nice polish. Little monk. Alright, done that one, done that one. Alright, let's give it a try. I don't know how this is going to work. So it's got a decent polish on it already. The back included is not too bad. Alright, I hit 50. Thank you all very much. And I'm going to try this. We'll see if it reacts or not. Sometimes this will react. So I'm not sure if the rhodonite's going to do well with exam or not. But we're about to find out. Thanks for the hearts. Alright, here's the test. Not bad, but I don't know if it's great. It didn't ruin it, and it didn't dull it. I'm not sure it improved it. So we'll try the front, see how it does. And it may just be that the back, I didn't polish the back on the machine quite as much as the front. But we're about to find out. And like I say, sometimes the ZAM will react to the, to the mineral in a chemical way. Even though it feels polished. Look at my index finger right now, it's very smooth. Thank you, Freckle Cat. Appreciate your support. Oh, I didn't get to show my present. Ow, that's hot. Alright, so you've got to be careful it doesn't get too hot. And let's see. Alright, now it worked out well. Super duper. Maybe cerium would do better, but I'm pretty happy with that. I did polish it some. It's not glass-like, but it looks pretty good. Alright. Do I or don't I is the question. Lemon crisp praise. Well, we're going to do it anyway. Why not? So if this reacts, then I have to go to the machine and redo the surface. It's got a decent polish to it already. But we're going to see. I'm afraid that the wax may get caught up in this matrix. But there's only one way to find out. And I haven't recharged it specifically because I don't want too much wax. Come on. Okay, well, not bad. Great, I did really well with this one. Nice, puffy, hot dome. Alright, let's do the edges. So we've done 10 stones in an hour and a half on 3 wheels and the polish. Alright. This is what I'm afraid of. Here we go. Get crevice, cleavage, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I was a little worried about it. It's not easy to do the heart shape on metal wheels that are 1.5 inches thick, moving around at 1750 RPM. So I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out. And awesome. Turned out really well, and that polish worked really well. Very happy. Yeah, I'm very happy with it. Get a little movie. Here we go. Very happy. So that's that lemon Chrysocolla. And we got that. We got the blue one to do. Let's do the Stone Mountain Jasper. I know J&V Rock Counting. I just saw he popped up a short and does a lot of agates and travels the country while he's driving for work. So this is the Stone Mountain Jasper. We're going to try the back first. Now, I didn't polish the back quite as well as the front, but let's see how the ZAM does with this. So this is a Jasper, and Jasper's agates, petrified woods, jades. I tend to use cerium oxide. Just gives it more of a glossy finish. If anybody would like to put this to music, that would be great. Okay, this is polishing well. that's the back, which is polished up really well. So the front should be even nicer. Thank you all for hanging out on your Sunday. You all going to have a big Sunday dinner. Yeah, this is really nice. It came out much nicer than I had anticipated. Now I want more of it. Now this one is slippery. Alright, that should do it. And it came out really good. Look at that. That's nice. Really nice stone, really nice material. Love that it has that line straight through the middle of it. It gives it some real character. Alright, last one is the blue. And this shouldn't take long. Actually, with this one we can show that even JB Weld can. Hey Dusty, how you doing today? So it's just, you're right at the last stone of the day, Dusty. So these are all the ones that we did the last couple of days. So yeah, even the JB Weld can take a polish if you wanted to. Let's just get the edges. Appreciate everybody that came in today. Very kind. I feel honored that you would even come in and spend a minute with me. So thank you. And let's get this. Right your hand up. Yes, character. It's a very important word in our vocabulary. Works well with stones and works well out in the big wide world. It's very important. Looks like we just finished. This is the rain's gonna start. There we go. Look at that. That's pretty. Pretty. Very happy. Alright, let me show off these. Let me turn this machine off because I don't want to get my hand caught. Let's see if we can show these off without you hear the rain. And that is the finished day. I guess that's as much as it's gonna get. Let's go. But yeah. All great polishes. Turquoise, Gaspeite, Nyla Turquoise, Kingman, Pink Rhodonite, Stone Mountain Jasper, Arizona Turquoise, Lemon Chrysocolla. Awesome. Get back just a tad, and you get one final picture. And we're done. So, let me show you my little gift I got today. Oh, did I have it? Oh, well, I'm gonna get in trouble because I've already misplaced it. Alright, well I had a gift today. Alright, so yeah, that's it for today. Thank you so much. Thanks for coming in. Come back on Thursday, I think we'll be live. And I hope you all have a great week. I really appreciate you spending some time with me. And we'll see you in the next one. So in the meantime, take care of each other. Most of all, take care of yourself. Cheers now.